You are live. Come on in, everybody. Have a seat. Pops wants to get this party started. I'm on a schedule. LOL. Exclamation point. Pops, are you really on a schedule? Dragon says, hey, chat. The Sin Killer. Greetings, sinners. Hope you're doing well. Tomorrow, Mike Jimmy will get the Sin Killer proofs from the printer. How cool is that? That is very cool. Working and listening to the show. Have fun. Thanks, Marv. Hope you're doing well. Jake Twister waves hello. Bristolian Dave is in the house. All right, me babbers. What is a babber?
Nice and early.
What is a babber anyway? Any idea?
It's a I'm not sure.
Pop says, nah, but I was bored. LOL.
I figure it's a babber is a super attractive person.
Oh, that must be what it is. Better than being called a splooge rag.
Yeah. Splooge rags.
Come on in, everybody. Come on in. We see you out there. There's coffee. There's light refreshments in the back. Water if you need it. Come on in.
You know, one day someone's going to ask us if we actually have water in the back.
We do. If I had a crowd noise I could run, I would do that too. That would be funny. Come on in. It's Thursday morning. We have coffee.
Yeah, it's
yeah, of course. Now Pop says Hills Blue Drags.
It's
we're gonna have to change our card now, huh?
Oh.
No longer gonna be the sup ass boys.
It'll be smooth rags. That's we monetize your hate here at Indie Volt. And,
it's the only true way to make money. That and super chats, folks. If you're over on YouTube, we do take super chats now.
Super chats and channel memberships.
Channel memberships. Yep.
Which
we want to do that exclusive video one of these days.
Oh yeah. I like to try to do. So yeah, the cool thing about the channel memberships is what I want to do is to our members, you're going to get access to special content that we're not going to put up. Or if it's not just for channel members, it will be exclusive for a set time. But I would much rather keep stuff exclusive for channel members, and then also I want to send you guys something physical. So whether it be a card or a print or something. So often we get a lot of stuff here from creators.
Yeah.
And they're like, hey, give this stuff away. And it's like, well, other than cons, I really don't have a way to give the stuff away or to, give it to people. So figure if you're a channel member, okay, you're going to get some of this stuff. That could be books. I mean, I don't want to say what book, but I got a package of books here for the Indie Vault a couple days ago, shipped to us. And, that would be great for channel members. I'm happy to send those out. I got enough Gemini mailers to do it.
Babber is a Bristolian phrase. It means babe. He's calling us babe, friend, mate, or baby. Okay.
Yeah,
I'll let you guys choose which applies to you. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. What the heck is this?
Russ is in the house. Morning, peeps. Afternoon, Mr. Leach. Hope you're doing well. Pops, of course, says only Russ can save us.
Let's see here.
The Ninja Genko. Momentization. Congrats.
Thanks.
I think he meant monetization.
Yeah, monetization.
But momentization is good too.
Well, we knew the moment we were monetized. No, it actually took a while. It took a long while to get monetized, and for us, because we had to get we noticed that we had the watch hours. It was the submissions and the subscriptions.
And if you've looked at our subscription number lately, we are at last time I looked, we were at 1.54.
Yeah. So we're at basically 1,500 and some change, and we appreciate every one of those.
We are growing constantly. We appreciate it deeply.
Yeah. And I was told by a YouTuber who has way more subscriptions than us, way more. They're not in the comic book market. They're a gamer, but they told me, they said, look, once you crack 1,000, said it's at that point it's just it's all like
snowball running down a hill.
Yeah. So
just gets bigger and bigger.
Yeah.
Glenn B. Fleming says, morning, fellas.
Good morning.
Afternoon, Glenn. Hope your day is going well.
I got chats from things from Indie Radio I'll be reading this morning. Questions sent in we didn't get to on Livewire. Some related to some of the things we covered on Livewire. Legalities and such. It's going to be interesting.
Oh, hey, an interesting show today, folks. So hang on. Should we run the opening?
Sure, why not?
Can we use that video I was talking about earlier?
Absolutely not.
Oh, yeah. Come on. No, absolutely not.
Absolutely not.
All right.
Can't nobody tell me nothing.
Yeah. That's General Thunderbolt Ross. Well, the first one anyway.
Not anymore. Yep.
Not anymore. Now it's William Hurt.
Drop the taco. Get in the car.
Drop the coffee. Add the bewildering face.
Hello, everyone. Hello. My glasses are a bit high, aren't they? There we go. Much better. New glasses. The other ones are starting to wear out on me, so they've been retired. These are nice and polarizing. They stop my eyes from hurting.
That'll add some wonderful patterns to your monitor.
Oh yeah. Hello, everyone. My name is Varian Grant. I'm the founder of IndieVolt Media LLC. Been making comics since 2008. I'm a comic book illustrator, creator, publisher, distributor. Been a father, husband, geek, gamer, occasional actor, and all kinds of stuff. I've done all kinds of interesting things in my life. And working taxpayer, not necessarily in that order. Thanks for joining us this morning here on IndieVolt BrEaKfAsT BuZz, our early morning show.
But do you have an IMDb page?
I do not have an IMDb page. Not yet.
You need to get one. I
should have one.
I've got one. I've got one. How come you don't have one?
It's weird. I've done commercials as a kid. I should have.
Look me up. IMDb. I don't know if commercials count though.
Yeah, I'm not sure. They might not.
I've got 2 credits, both of them playing myself. Because I'm that good. Yeah.
Eric Hudson in the chat says, good morning. Good morning, Eric.
Hey, good morning, Eric. Hey, everybody. Thanks for listening in. I am your co-host, your lowly co-host, Randy Zimmerman. I've been doing independent and alternative comics most of my life, which is much longer than yours. Done just about everything in the direct market you can imagine. Retailed for over 10 years. Ran conventions for over 10 years. Printed a newspaper for about 10 years. That was a comics and entertainment paper. And now I'm back resurrecting Arrow Comics once again in order to bring products to the direct market, at least for a month once we get completely up and rolling. It's like an airplane taking off. Sometimes you have to bounce on the runway a little bit before you can take to the air. But we're getting there, and we'll be there. And when we do, we'll be bringing a lot of great things that you can see our announcements over on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. There's a link tree for all of those over there for Arrow Comics 4.0. So go over and take a look. Deeply appreciate you being here, and deeply appreciate being part of the IndieVolt Radio Network and everyone out there listening to us in Radio Land this morning. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are.
It's been I got lots to do today. It's going to be a very interesting 2 days for me.
Jake says I've been playing with myself. Yes, I am BD. Oh, and playing with himself. IMDb does count that kind of credit.
Russ does have one. Russ says he has an IMDb page. Yeah.
There you go.
Oh no, I don't. I'm just on there. Oh, there it is. Okay, I'm just on there.
Just on there.
Yeah, it's for me though. This weekend, I'm streaming the Indie Vote Comic Book Awards. Pretty excited about that. Got a lot of really fine talent getting some awards. Now the way we're doing it is because we're streaming it. We went that option. And we won't have a live audience. We so desperately want it. We won't have them. So how that's going to work is any trophies will be sent to the winners afterwards. We're going to have to mail them out to them. So they will be packed with love and care, bubble wrapped, and sent out to the winners.
And we know that streaming is kind of exactly not what we wanted to do, because we were out to bring a level of respectability and notice to the alternative and independent comic market. But for this one, it can't be helped.
Yeah,
because of these silly restrictions and everybody shifting rules and changing restrictions constantly. It's just irritating, and we Varian just couldn't come to a solid agreement.
Yeah, there were things
for an audience. So
yeah, there were things I just couldn't. Yeah, I couldn't do in enough time to. There was will require maybe another month or so in terms of trying to figure out spacing and stuff. So I understand it was for safety. So okay.
Well, they're still arguing over what you can or cannot do and what papers you must carry and all of that. So, yeah. Everybody in the house appreciate Mike Jimmy being in there.
Yeah. It's Dave Supreme in the chat. Hey, Dave. So,
you find people. Mike Jimmy says, "Note: do not make an entire trailer in a single morning. Crunch time is one, insanity is another." Okay.
I've made them in the night before, like started at like 3 o'clock in the morning and probably got it wrapped up about 6, 7. But that's just because sometimes my medication will give me a burst of energy and focus. Was it heretofore untold?
Is that energy and focus or insomnia and boredom?
It's sometimes like it's a really horrible focus because you can't do anything else. Your mind will not let you. Hyper focuses on this thing, and it has to get done. And once it's done, and normally it's done very well too. I've done it with comic book pages. I woke up the medication. It's usually for some reason they used to not do that. But like as I gotten older now, it has the hydrocodone will wake me up in the middle of the night, and it's like you need to go do this thing now. And so whether that's drawing a comic book page, which hasn't been drawing in a minute, but it'll be usually sometimes it'll be something on the websites. Need to get this done now, or get this fixed now, or hey, you know what? Why don't you rehaul the entire site?
Might explain some of the attitude in comics the last few years. Fix this now.
Yeah. So it's
Critical Blast says, "I need all that endless coffee." Stat. Absolutely.
Endless coffee. That's our endless coffee stream.
Got my Tigger mug with a broken handle handy, right in hand. Yes.
I got so many mugs. They just all disappear. I leave them on my desk. I send them to the dishwasher, and they never come back.
They're like oddball socks in the dryer. They just disappear.
Yeah.
You'll find them on the high shelf in the back of your cupboard someday. Cabinet.
Yeah. When I was younger, when I was a kid, my mother would determine if she liked a mug. It didn't matter if it was hers or not. If she liked a mug.
My mom never liked my mug. She kept slapping it so much. Anyway, go ahead.
My mother would take it and put it in the china cabinet. You never see your mug again. You're like, where's my mug? Where's
my mug?
I had like a really cool Batman mug, and I remember looking for it, and she had taken it, and she determined that it was no longer to be drink out of. She went and bought me a regular black mug. I'm like, I don't want this. I want my Batman mug. I paid $8 for. So let me get into Marsh Makes Comics in the chat. Hey, how's it going, Marsh?
Hey.
So let's look at some of the.
Thanks for listening, Marsh. Marsh Makes Comics.
I'll read some of the things here from Indie Vote Radio from Tuesday. We didn't get a chance to answer, and this one comes from X. X.
X,
And yeah. And
Mr. or Ms. X,
this is X. This is
just
X.
an X.
Yeah. And it's
That means that they're going to pick on us, is it?
not necessarily. And then this question seems pretty logical. Okay. I am waiting for a revolution in the comics and in the Comic-Con industry. This is in regards to
Comic-Con industry.
the Comic-Con question we had about people not needing.
Mhm.
When will promoters or new promoters step up and actually make the shows more accessible and comic book focused? I think you see that all the time, but here's the problem. The problem that promoters have is that the same problem an artist has when they're at a show with their book. You got your book out and everyone's walking past you. And yes, some people are going to stop. There'll be people there who love indie comics and they want to read something new. But there's a problem. Well, there's always that same thing when they buy a ticket. They come into the show and you need a draw. You need somebody there who's going to pull in an audience. And so it got really simple to pull in a comic book celebrity. You could, they could reach out and pull in maybe an Alan Moore. I don't think Alan Moore does Comic-Cons, but an Alex Ross but the thing is, it's like with me and Prince, I didn't do, I just had my comics out and then I was doing okay, but it wasn't until like I noticed that Eric, Dreaded Dinosaur, was doing gangbusters compared to me. And I'm like, well, what is he doing? What has he got that and I'm like, oh, well, he has all these prints. Like, what's he got that I don't got besides talent? He's a really skilled artist. And I'm like, well, maybe if I do prints and I found a print style that made me comfortable because I wanted to do something different than just do prints. I wanted to try to make it something that like I felt like everybody could draw a cool Deadpool. Everybody could draw a great Batman. I want to do something a little different. So I found my niche and watched my take home from conventions increase. And I think that's what convention promoters have. They got to get people in the door. And so it's a lot easier just to grab, to contact Chris Evans's representation, not Sugar Chris, but that's Captain America Chris Evans, and get him to come and sit at your show. And he, in a way, he still is comic book. He played Captain America, so people will come there. But the problem is, with that, is these celebrities have guarantees. They have to be paid. There's a guarantee they have to make, and so that's why you notice their photography or their photo shoots prices are so high because the convention promoter want to make money for bringing them in, and they also have to make sure they have the money to meet that guarantee. Eric says, short answer is never. The big autograph shows are going to war. It'll bust that market. Find the smaller local shows and support them, like Grand Rapids Comic-Con.
It's Grand Rapids Comic-Con, a smaller show at the moment, but
growing,
it's a great show. Yeah.
Comic-Con, Comic Book Black Belt says, I know everyone cannot draw a great Batman.
Was he talking to you there?
I can draw a pretty good Batman. My Batman is nice and sleek.
Sleek?
I tend to draw Batman a little bit more.
Like Dick Sprang?
I don't draw Batman bulky. I don't think he's yeah.
Oh, you mean thin then?
Yeah, he's thin. He's got a swimmer's body when I draw him. I don't know why I'm like that. I don't draw him as thin as I draw Spider-Man.
Marsh makes comics as low. That's true, Russ. And honestly, Batman's a struggle for me. Probably because I'm not a huge fan of Batman.
There you go. Yeah, that's the problem right there.
Love Batman the animated series, but I have to agree with Marsh. I think Batman's a character they need to retire for about a decade.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe have him mysteriously disappear like they've done on Batwoman.
Poof. They could do that. But they might watch. They may watch some of their money disappear though.
How come you can't find Bruce Wayne every time Batman's not around? We can't understand it.
Batman kidnapped Bruce Wayne. It's simple. He's holding him somewhere.
Jake says Varian does it. Sam Keith.
Do I? Do
Yeah.
I do?
I always
Oh,
liked Wrightson's Batman. I always thought that was killer. That was awesome. That very much the inspiration for Spawn and Spawn's cape.
I don't know why I draw Batman like that. I just draw him slender. He's just I don't think he should be this big. I mean, don't get me wrong. I like the Dark Knight, Frank Miller Batman. I think that's a cool look. But when I'm drawing him, I don't draw him that way for some
Sam
reason.
Keith's Batman.
Yeah. I thought Ben Affleck was great, Batman. I thought he was great. It's just I just don't think I draw him that bulky.
Black belt says Neil Adams.
Yeah. Now from and this is from Webby. I don't know what that.
Well, the thing, the X, if you get a chance, start hitting the smaller shows, the 1 day shows, the ones that are more comic oriented, because all of these guys, like what Varian was saying, goes where the money flows. And right now, having that big star come in, that main attraction, even if you have to cover their minimums, is what brings people through the door. And that's what a lot of these large shows are concerned about. More about getting bodies in than how much money. Actually, getting bodies in is more money for them. So support your local, support the 1 day shows, the little shows, those shows that the convention market really started with, which is kind of an outgrowth of the flea market. There used to be great 1 day shows that were once a month, maybe even twice a month here down in the Detroit area. Not here, but I'm up in Flint, but around where Varian is in the Sterling Heights of Detroit in the suburb area, they used to throw some great 1 day shows all the time. And that was all comic dealers. There was hardly ever a special guest there unless it was a local artist who wanted to set up shop. Those were always fun because you had local dealers there, a lot of which were more paper dealers than comic dealers that were trying to clean out their basements or whatever. You found some pretty unique, interesting stuff there.
That's true. I like a lot of smaller shows. That's why I got a reprint book of the original Blade stories from one of the little Extravacon smaller shows. I was like $5, and I'm like, guy had like a box full of them. I don't know where I'm like, I'll buy 2 of them.
You find some good deals there as well as people, just want to clean their stuff out.
Absolutely.
Marsh says, yes, Neil Adams and Sam Keith do great Batman. Neil Adams' Batman covers are amazing. Yep. Who's your favorite Batman? Who draws your favorite Batman?
Me? You know who.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Did he do that a lot? He never drew a Batman story, though, did he?
Yeah, he did Superman Batman when Supergirl returned.
Oh, okay. Cool.
So, he did that. What's funny is that the toys based off his art I didn't like, though.
Yeah.
I didn't like that. I thought the molds were very weird looking at him, and they captured his art style.
That could be the sculptor more than what they were basing it off of. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think they did a very good job of that.
From the desk of a small press publisher, better to get to know the promoter. Better to get to know the promoter to know what they are promoting. That way you know what to expect when you table or exhibit.
I don't think there's going to be some big mad rush to like revolutionize the Comic-Con industry, though. I mean, they already do have independent comic shows. You have to seek them out is all.
Yeah.
Again, there's Staple. There was I don't know if Cake is still around. Joe D might know if Cat's around because that was Chicago's independent.
We used to travel around every weekend for Jubilee shows along the East Coast, and that were 1 day shows that would have 1 or 2 guests. And other than that, it was all comic dealers. It was fun.
Yeah, there's Space. In Ohio,
Space also. Yeah, that's once a year though.
Yeah, I mean, there are these shows you can actually travel if you want to hit independent shows. The shows that focused on independent comics, but a lot of these are pop culture shows now, and then they have a right to be. They bring people in. Eric says SuperCon and MayCon on the same weekend next year. Money going up, less than 2 hours away from each other. Yikes!
Might as well take some of that money and flush it, but they'll learn. When they run against one another, they think they're in competition, which is what always drove the show but with the shows in Detroit crazy, because everybody thought that they were horning in on their territory.
Mhm.
You know, we've had you have somebody set up a show and 2 weeks later somebody else is setting up a show, or somebody setting up a show, somebody comes in 2 weeks before and sets up a show. There's this constant angry bitterness and backstabbing that goes on. It's not helpful for anybody.
No.
I mean, there is a lot to be said for healthy competition, but that was just some of that stuff got to be pretty vicious there for a while back in the late 70s, early 80s.
Yeah, and I mean, these guys are.
Cake is still around.
Is it okay? Yeah, I would say because what Joe D. McPhee would know better than we do.
Yeah, who invited Ed Davis to the party?
There he is.
Hey, how's it going?
Hey,
Hey,
all right, how are you, Ed?
Going?
I'm good.
There he is. Yeah, I know. I thought Ed got sent an invite. My apologies, Ed. That was my fault. I
No
dropped the ball
problem.
this morning. Ed returning from his appearance on Livewire. And
Yes, the famous Sploo Drag.
That's right. Randy, and this is from Webby Reese.
Webby Reese.
Yeah, Webby Reese is upset. And upset at Connery.
We should have Ed introduce himself to the radio audience, though.
Oh, go ahead.
Okay.
You introduce yourself first.
So I'm Ed Davis. I'm the writer of the Immortal Era series, creator of Finish Line Comics. I've been doing it for about 2 years, so you guys got a lot of years on me, but we're about to release issue 5, and it's live on Kickstarter right now.
Mike Jimmy says, "Hey, Ed.
Hey.
If you're going to be a regular guest here, Ed, you might need a hat."
Oh, I do. I'm as soon as I finish with you, I'm running to work. I think this is the first interview I've not worn a hat, but it's literally finished with you and off I go. I'm 6:30 here in the morning.
That's right. Yes.
So where you at? I forgot. You're in
Southern California.
Okay.
It's on the West Coast.
Yeah.
Yep. So Webby Reese is mad at Connery. Says refunding your campaign that you have set to a flexible goal is BS. They spelled the whole word out though, but I don't know why I didn't say it.
We're TVAMA, DLP. You can say
me,
bullshit if you have to.
For me, the kid's over doing the schoolwork at the table, so I don't know if he's got his mic on. You guys can say what you're going to. They can't hear. They can't hear you guys, but they can definitely hear me if he unmutes.
Set that example. It's important. Be that role model.
So he says, Webby says,
Glenn says, hats off to Ed.
See, now I'm like, now I'm all subconscious, like, shit, I got 3 hats.
No,
you're one.
I wear a hat in order to keep the shine down.
Oh yeah, see, I got the same shine. I feel you.
Varian wears a hat in order to be recognized.
Yeah, that's the only reason.
He wears the shades to look cool, though.
It stops with that, and it allows me to allows a couple things. One, for me to sleep when I'm medicated. I'll be on the show. No one else. And then 2, it also shows it hides me rolling my eyes when someone says I'm stupid. And there we go. That's great for that. Webby says,
for that. Go ahead.
It is BS to cancel your campaign because you didn't make enough money. You set a flexible goal. It is not fair to your backers who are expecting the book and may have backed you based upon that. It is false advertising, and you should be ashamed of yourself. Well, I don't know, Webby. I don't know. I think I understand your disappointment. I don't know if you back shift either, but I understand disappointment. But if you go back and listen to the interview and go back and listen, he said he's doing it because he wants to provide the best product he can. And if he doesn't hit 4,000, then he can't provide the best product. Now, Webby, would you like for him just to collect the money and say, sorry guys, it's a flexible goal. Remember, crowdfunding ain't chopping. Thanks for the free money and hit the door. He's not doing that.
Because that has happened.
Yeah.
Oh, I've lost plenty.
Yeah. So
I mean somebody going, thanks for your contribution. I don't have to provide you a book.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Or a game or a board game or, whatever thing they decide to rob you for.
Yeah.
there's a lot of different reasons. People can run their campaigns however they like. When we did the Indie Volt Revolt book, I ran it as a flexible goal because I was going to print the book no matter how many people bought in. And I also set my goal low because it didn't matter how many people bought in, we were still going to print the book. So that's part of the fun of print on demand, is you automatically know what your per unit price is going to be and what you need to have for whatever profit. And if you're going to print the book, doesn't matter how many people buy in, let's make a flexible goal, and boom, if we don't make it, we'd still print the book. But other folks, I'm not sure why Connery decided to make it a flexible goal. If he decided on a firm price of 4,000, maybe we need to have Connery back on to explain himself. But that's his prerogative. And if he feels he can't give you a good product, which I totally understand, without having a base cost, then that's completely up to him. You know, it's his campaign, it's his product, and you really have to appreciate that thought where he sits there and goes, you know, I really can't give. I'm going to give you a substandard product if I hit a certain dollar, or if I don't hit a certain dollar amount. So let me hit that dollar amount so that I can give you a good product, or just refund your money and try it again.
Yeah, because he didn't say I'm just going to run off with your money. He's going to actually refund it if you can't.
Exactly.
If he can't get, if he can't, isn't hit that $4,000. I think that I can respect that. It's not like some people that we've seen.
Yeah.
So yeah. Chris Hayes says good morning.
Pat Koala says Chris. Morning, gentlemen and variant.
Yeah. That's okay. I'll see Pat in a couple weeks.
I'd never get invited to his show.
Yeah. You never got invited to him? I
might have to buy a table. Nope, never have.
I could have sworn you've been to C4. Really?
No.
Yeah. That's weird.
No, because if I had, I would probably bring the wife with me, and she'd run over to Turtle Creek during the show.
Chris Hayes says, "Good morning, guys. Good morning, Chris."
Morning.
I think that if what we end up having is a situation though with Connery. I understand both people. I understand, Webby being upset. And again, Webby, I don't know if you bought into his campaign, but I understand your thought pattern that, it's that flexible goal. That means the book's gonna be made anyway. We take that for granted. That doesn't always happen. There have been people who take
I wouldn't ask to refund his campaign just because he set something in his campaign that you didn't quite like. You bought into the campaign because you wanted to see the product. And if he's not going to give you the product unless he hits a certain dollar amount, just understand and appreciate that he has standards and let it go. That's help him make his minimum.
I guess Webby's argument is, well, you set the flexible goal. Well, yeah, he set the flexible goal, but now he realizes after crunching the numbers, I can't provide a good product.
He needs a certain dollar amount in order to give you a decent product. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So,
and it's something he'll learn in the future, not to set the flexible goal. So in future campaigns, he'll know what he's doing.
Yeah. Lola had to adjust hers because she had a I think unreasonable goal at first for her first book out, and she adjusted it and she hit her campaign goal. She actually just cut it in half is all she did was literally cut it in half, and she did okay.
Well, I'm real happy I set a flexible goal with the Revolt book because I didn't get to go out and promote it as much as I nearly wanted to. I wanted to get out in front of other ears and really push that book, and I didn't get that chance to do it because I was tied up with other stuff. So, like I said, the book was going to get printed anyway, and that's what we did. So, and everybody that got the book said that it was really good too. So that's pretty awesome. Appreciate that.
And
cut that right there.
Anyway. And this new one is from, and this next one is from Hammond Corn.
Before you do that, Joe makes a good point there. Right. He says, "Well, Varian Connery's statement was status of the book. He's being honest with backers, but it also shows he isn't putting skin in the game for his book either. We don't know his plan."
Demetrius LaShawn Witherspoon says, "Good morning." Oh, sorry.
Hit the wrong one. Oh, and then we hit it.
Good morning. I'm loving the show, guys. Thanks,
Demetrius, very much. Joe also says, however, for those who look forward to a product, most want assurance that their investment dollars goes to a product. Well, the dollars will, or it'll be refunded. That's what he said.
Yeah, he's not taking the money and running. He's
Yeah.
not going on vacation with it.
Yeah, not buying those concert tickets. It won't be concerts. It won't be concerts to go to anyway.
That was one of our first statements that we got in. I had this campaign that was really successful, and I went to see a bunch of concerts and paid a bunch of bills, and now I can't afford to print the book. What am I going to do?
Yeah.
We had that.
Yeah.
Oh, I can believe it. I had one guy who said like one of the stretch goals was sending them to this amusement park. He's like, our team's going to get inspiration, so this is a stretch goal. I'm like, wow, that is the shittiest stretch goal I've ever seen in my life. Sending you to an amusement park.
Yeah.
I guess that's. Hey, you gotta have goals, all right.
We only have Ed on for an hour, right?
Yeah, I gotta leave it about 7:10.
Yeah.
Did you want to keep with questions, or did you want to?
Well, I mean, I've only got
good.
one more for right now. So.
Oh, okay. Well, we're good then. Yeah. Sorry, I don't mean to run your show, man. I'm just the co-host.
And this is from oh crap, where'd it go? Let's see here. Oh man, may have lost it.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, I may have lost it. Oh crap. I'm sorry, Hammond Corn. If you want to send that back in, I don't know if you're listening. Please do so I can read it here. I apologize. I should have powered through and read it. Yeah, I'm like, you know what? Actually, go ahead, Randy, and see if you can talk to Ed about his book while I drop behind the scenes and see if I can find that question.
Okay, give me there we go. Ed, give me your link. We'll pull that up.
Okay, let me grab that for you.
You have that in the chat?
I'll put it in
Give me
there
one
right
second.
now.
I'm gonna bounce back behind the scenes, see if I can find that question. What happened to it off the radio?
You're gonna bounce. All right.
I'm still here. I'm just gonna
Mhm.
Okay.
There we go.
Cool. Pulling it up right now. Immortal Era 1 through 5. Let's there we are. Let's show that off. Tell us about the book, Immortal Era 1 through 5.
All right, so this is the 5th issue, and it tells a story of a post-apocalyptic world 200 years in the future where nobody can die. So it centers on the group we're looking at right now. They live underground in an abandoned subway system, which is where the outcasts of society are all forced to live because, as you can imagine, in a world with no death, and I don't know if I said it had no death, so now I can say that.
Well, they're immortal.
Yeah, in a world where no one can die, it's going to be overpopulated. There's going to be dwindling resources. One thing about the immortality in this world, and we were talking about that last time, they continue to age. So it's not sexy immortality. You know, they're not vampires walking around and staying the same age. There's 200-year-olds lurking around in this world that can't move a muscle. So it centers on this group who are trying to find a way to bring death back into the world, and kind of an opposite story of saving the world by killing people.
Okay.
And issue 5 breaks our group apart because in the earlier issues we've been mostly centered on one setting and the group staying together. Issue 5 separates the group and basically opens up the quest in a larger way, and things start getting a lot crazier. So issue 5 and 6 will wrap up this first story arc and then move it into the first trade.
Got it. Yep. Shall we run the trailer?
Go for it. Welcome to the Immortal Era, a post-apocalyptic world set 200 years in the future. A hopeless world, a world without death. A mysterious event in the year 2000 plunged humanity into a cursed existence, burdened with immortality. Now the world stands divided, with only a small group of outcasts forced to live their lives in the decaying underground, fighting to save the planet. They've tasked themselves with hunting relics from the past, relics that will answer decades-old questions and find the way to restore the natural life cycle, saving humanity by killing them. When we last left our heroes, Ari had escaped the clutches of Dr. Nix, only to find herself a prisoner of the dangerous robotic police force who roam the surface, out of the frying pan and into the fire. How will she escape this fate, and what dangers lie ahead? Find out in the newest issue of Immortal Era. As always, we have lots of exciting new rewards to meet the needs of brand new or returning backers.
Cool. Anything else you want to tell us about the book?
It's going to be, when it's all said and done, a 30-issue series. So it's it's kind of a project I've had stewing since the late 90s. So that's why it has a lot of kind of Y2K hysteria built into it. Everything that happens to get rid of death happens in the year 2000. So it's a big story. So if you're into long form storytelling in comic books, this is the one for you. And we have a good release schedule. So issue 6, the artwork for that is almost complete. So we should have issues coming on a regular basis. COVID threw a monkey wrench in the whole production, but I think it did to everybody. Nobody was ready for what happened with that.
So at this point, resources are extremely scarce. That's why everybody's carrying blades.
Yeah, they're scarce. There's not a lot of weaponry that's available. So swords are what they do there. There are bullets and things like that, but those would be kept by the people on the surface. So the ones that are underground would be fighting more with swords and blades. We do get some weapons that come in, and those come in later on in the story. There's a few that we've seen now. They do, some of them do have guns. So yeah, you can see she's kind of carrying a large gun right there. So
very big,
there are guns, but bullets are so scarce that they're going to use blades as their primary fighting tool.
Yeah, gotcha. And a lot of different tiers.
Yeah, we have tiers for people coming in that you can buy all the back issues. We have tiers with posters, t-shirts, hats. Should have been wearing one. We have tiers with if you go into the add-ons, there's CGC copies of the book, and you can get some of the old stretch goals that we had, like the pin sets and things like that. So I try to include a little bit for everybody. And then there's also original art pages. I think there's 2 of those left. The first 2 of them have sold, and there's 2 more left. 1 original cover and 1 original splash page.
Yeah, 2 left of 5 is what it said. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Original splash page 1 for 205.
Yeah.
Oh, and all gone. You've had tiers that have sold out.
Yeah.
That's always good to see.
Always. Oh, yeah. So that's Immortal Era 1 through 5. That's available over on Kickstarter now. Check that out. Immortal Era 1 through 5. A continued hero's quest where the only way to save humanity is by killing them. You have almost $3,000 built up of a $1,500 goal, 113 backers, 18 days to go.
Yep. And it ends right around the time that I'm doing the Unicon in Las Vegas. So that'll be the last weekend of the campaign, and hopefully grab some last minute backers there.
Mm-hmm. And in the chat, Sugar Chris is hanging out. Hey, Sugar, what's going on? I found Hammond Corn's question, and it was related to YouTube. So I can't wait till you finish with this. But I did find this question.
Cool. Yeah, we're done. Unless there's anything else that you want to cover, Ed.
No.
Cool. I did back Immortal Era, so I'm
thank you.
looking forward to it. Now, from Hammond Corn, he said, YouTube seems to be full of people who are making comics and are experts in the field. The thing is, are they really? Are they really? The thing is,
we've had that discussion a couple of times in the past. Yeah.
He says the thing is, you never know who to really trust. There are so many conflicting opinions.
Mm-hmm.
One person says A, the other says B. You don't know who to trust. What's a good way for me to find the right people to listen to? I don't think there is a surefire way to tell you, but I can tell you this. Look, there are people on YouTube who I mean, listen, there are actual channels that because I see them because I'm subscribed to some of them because I like seeing the content where they live in this. Some of them live in a world where it's like, hey, I'm going to talk negatively about this thing.
In a world where you want to spin facts in your own direction,
right? In either way, so there are people
like real life. Anyway,
there will be a film that is good, and there will be people saying this film sucks. This film, it has the worst box office in history, and it's like that's not factually true. It's actually making money. And then there are people who, where a film is bad, will say this film is great, it's groundbreaking. And you have that with comics. You have people who say, comics are booming.
No, you said that wrong. Comics are booming.
Yeah. And it's like, no, they're not. No, you're lying, sweetheart. They're not. they're not mainstream comics. They're not. But
the real key to this, to keep in mind, what Varian is trying to say. Everybody views history from their own perspective. Everybody has their own context. Everybody has their own understanding, and it all depends on their perspective. History is always told from a person's point of view. So my version of history comes from a lot farther back than somebody who's just ran into a comic last week, for example, and thinks that Squirrel Girl is the end all for comics. You can't trust any of them, and don't trust any of them. Go out there and get your own perspective. Listen to everybody and make up your own mind, because a lot of this art, and comics are art, is subjective. So you have to look at everybody's different point of view. Were they there? Did they understand what the market was working like during that period, or are they just parroting somebody else or standing on their particular street corner and giving you their perspective of history? A lot of us have gone through, and there's a I just ranted to Varian a couple days ago about a documentary I was watching that was awesome for the first half hour, and then went way off the rails with their idea about what happened. And it's like, that's not how this happened at all. You people are full of shit. I had to turn the thing off because I knew better, because I was retailing during the time that they were talking about, and that's not at all what happened. But from their perspective, that's the way it went. They were sticking somebody way up on a high pedestal and basically worshiping the ground that they walked on, when it's like, no, that's not how this guy was running on fumes at that point. You don't understand how this was working. The direct market was kicking in. This guy was literally Wile E. Coyote running off the cliff and looking down and realizing he's got nothing underneath him and desperately grasping at whatever he could while he was falling. And about to make the little puff in the desert, which they ended up happening. But everybody's perspective in history is different. You even go back and you try to figure out. You look at early Marvel history, and everybody's got a different perspective, because back then nobody kept notes. Nobody was aware or remotely thought that the stuff that they were working on in order to hit a deadline, in order for the printer to be able to keep his presses wet, was going to make $1 billion movie 30, 40, 50 years later. Nobody.
Never be. Those presses can never be too wet.
Those presses can never be too wet. No. But even the visionaries, the true visionaries in this art form, Kirby came around towards the end of his life and said, someday they're going to make $1 billion movies off of all this stuff that we're drawing, because the special effects are going to catch up to what you're capable of doing in the comics, which is really interesting, because the comics have eroded so much away from that everybody's being so realistic. Most everybody is being so realistic now that you can film it on $100,000 budget. What a lot of these comics are coming out for, when we ought to be stretching our imaginations to the wildest limits and doing absolutely crazy stuff. That's my perspective.
Yeah, I guess I can understand that.
But please don't trust anybody when it comes to history like that.
I remember when I was looking in just how to do production of a comic, there's a million different opinions, but I had the luck that one person on my team had actually worked in the industry, and she was able to help move me through it, because like you said, there's so many opinions, and it's factual to them. They can, facts that match for one person, but it was really hard to know what to do. And I just felt lost in a sea of different information. But luckily there was one person to keep us moving in the right direction, our colorist, because she had worked on the Doctor Who comics and knew a little bit about how to do things. But otherwise, yeah, it's too much information, too much misinformation.
They're just now starting to realize the historical significance of a lot of this, and even modern comic history gets bent to the person's perspective. Well, I watched and we've talked about this, Kelly Sue DeConnick had an interview where she was talking about how women have always read comics in the past, and in fact some of these comics were selling 300,000-400,000 copies, so women were reading comics. But what she doesn't tell you is at the time that women were that the books aimed at a female audience were selling 300,000-400,000 copies. Other books were out there selling 3 or 4 million copies. And what ended up happening is these comic companies sat there and looked at the numbers, and guess which audience they ended up running with. That's why comics are predominantly a male, or had been a male-dominated industry, was because that was their audience. That was the people that were spending the most money. In fact, there was a whole period there and I had a great interview with Trina Robbins about this. There was a whole period there where Timely, who turned into Marvel, was aiming intentionally at a female audience, and they switched gears really fast when they weren't making enough money. And that's how the Fantastic Four got started, and Millie the Model eventually stopped being printed.
Also, what's another question?
But I'm sorry, but it's the perspective thing that comes to mind. She's looking at a female audience. Yes, it was there, but it wasn't there remotely as large as a male audience. So everybody's got a different perspective on numbers. Everybody can bend stats however they want. It's just like watching the news media. They can tell you one thing, and what they're telling you is exactly right, but they're not telling you the whole story.
Yeah, you get pieces.
Yeah. And it's, again, from the perspective that they want you to hear or to understand. Sorry, Barry, go ahead.
Oh, no, it's no problem. Question here, and this one is from Lady Dame, and Lady Dame says, and it's a pretty weird question. I guess though. Okay. How can I stop my creative team from heading out and making boisterous claims that I now have to fulfill and take care of? Lady Dame's situation is that I was reading the question before while you were talking. Her crew has gone out and made stretch goal promises on the page, and because you can add people to partake in your campaign, and or to add things to your campaign, and so that's what's happened. And I think the easy way is to block that access, Lady Dame.
Yeah.
And also, let your backers know, hey, look, some of that stuff is impossible. Some people get stars in their eyes and they say, hey, we're going to make action figures, and we're going to make plushies, and we're going to make candy and bubble gum.
So we all want to make action figures, plushies, and bubblegum. It's just sometimes reality gets in the way.
Yeah.
That's all. Yeah.
And you got to remember too, like, I would say, like, be careful, because my problem is my very first company. I've told the story before. Is that I was delegating jobs because I couldn't do them, not because I didn't have the time to do them. No, I literally did not have the skill set to do those jobs, and so I learned that was a very dangerous, and I compromised myself. I compromised my company by doing that, because I put people in positions where they knew more than me and had the ability to take shit away. you know,
Mhm.
like I remember getting my dumb ass. I hired 3 website designers at the same time.
And really, don't degrade yourself too much. It's not your dumbass; it's your uneducated ass.
Well, yeah, because
You learn as you go.
I hired three website designers, and my thinking was that 3 of them, they'll work faster, they'll all get together, and these 3 people are going to give me a kick-ass website.
Mhm.
And only one of them really worked on the website, but you best believe all 3 of them had access to it.
One was oil,
And
one was vinegar, and the other one was sand.
and I'm telling you, they all tried to get their payment for me as if they did all the work. If you ask either of them, I did all the work. No, I did. No, I did. So I paid the guy who originally came to me and said, I did all the work there, and I paid him. He said the other 2 didn't do any work. The one girl, she didn't do anything, and Nick didn't do shit. He paid me, so I paid him. And then I wake up on one of my websites. And I'm like, what's going on my website? I call him. He's like, no. And I'm locked out. Well, I get to my office and there's the young ladies in there. I didn't get paid. And I'm like, well, I was told you didn't do anything. No, I did. I did this and I did that and this and that and the other. So I paid her. Well, 2 weeks later, website's down again. I got someone else holding my website hostage. So you begin to learn I learned I need to do things for myself. I need to have a certain degree of, I don't have to control it, but I wanted to know that I could do it if nothing else happened.
Yeah.
I didn't want to give anybody a job and not know what it took. So if someone, I knew if someone was BSing me, the wife reached out. The wife was going to get a website done by someone else because she realized, we're super busy. And she went online and she found a guy making websites, and she's like, hey, how much to design his website for me? And he came back with $700 something, which is reasonable, but she's like, ugh, no. Like, not when I know my husband can do it, even though I know he's busy. That's a lot of money.
Yeah.
And don't get me wrong, I mean, the guys are gonna do the same thing I can do. So, and I remember again too, when I learned how to do websites, I realized that even though what I was paying people to design them for me, I was kind of getting taken. I was kind of getting took because, I mean, yes, there's a lot of time and a lot of trial and error that goes into it. But Randy will tell you, I threw up his Flint Comics Con sites. Now Randy doesn't ask so many bells and whistles, but I threw that sucker up so quick.
I'm a simple guy.
Yeah.
But I'm a bad man. Anyway.
But I threw that site up so freaking quick, it was ridiculous. It was fast and to the point, and then Randy doesn't ask for a lot of bells and whistles. So, but there are people who would have tried to charge Randy $800-900 for that site, and that's ridiculous. So make sure though that when you're creating these companies and you're starting your companies, because Eric sent me a great meme yesterday, and it said, be careful who you let on your ship. There are some people who will sink the boat just because they can't be captain. And you've got to be very careful of that. So people who are going on your site or on your page and adding these, pie in the sky stretch goals, some of them might be trying to do it on purpose.
Yeah.
And keep in mind that this is a lesson learned. You probably need to take some of that authority away from people and tell them to calm the F down. Russ says contracts, that'll stop them. This says don't give them access. If it's your team, lead it.
Exactly.
Mike Jimmy said if they made promises, tell them to put in the money to keep to them.
I'm not going to bring up her campaign, but I'm looking at it. Yeah. She needs to reel them in. I'll show you guys after.
But yeah, reel them in, and not just reel them in, but know better next time.
Mm-hmm.
This is always a learning experience. Whenever you do something, and whenever you print a book, whenever you because I'm still learning stuff on production and that kind of thing. You're never going to stop learning, and sometimes those lessons are rough and hard, and sometimes they're real easy and just never realized I could do that. Okay, here we go. But yeah, here's a lesson learned, and stop them. Tell them to stop. Go in, change the page, make apologies, and go on with the campaign.
Yeah, because people shouldn't be back out from the campaign because of a stretch goal. Stretch goals they're bonus. They're not the promised product. It's not like she's still going to give them the book or whatever it is she's selling. The stretch goals are what have been modified, and get them the hell out of there. Yeah,
it's you know what? I was talking to someone on Twitter, 3 days ago. It was over the weekend. Yeah, it was actually over the weekend, and they told me that they were upset because they got their campaign, they got their play, they ordered a book, they backed the book, they got it in the mail, and a few of the promised stretch goals were not included.
Mm-hmm.
And they reached out to the creator and said, "Hey, what's up? Where's my trading cards? Where's the stickers? It's all listed there." And they said, "Oh, well, yeah, the company who's supposed to do them didn't do them, so I just had to send everything out. I wanted to get everybody the books. Stretch goals. I mean, the idea is that stretch goals, you might not get them. Card subject to change. Lola had an issue where she had an artist approach her about doing something for her campaign, and that artist backed out and then started to ghost her. Well, she's like, "Oh crap, what am I going to do?" Well, she's lucky she knows a lot of artists. She can reach out to and say, "Hey, if I, can you do this for me, or can you work some agreement out?" But yeah, there's sometimes you can get screwed in those stretch goals. Would that upset anybody though? Would that upset you if you? I mean, I know you might be looking forward to a certain stretch goal, like, "Oh, that's cool. That's why I backed it." If you don't get it, do you feel that that's a violation of your?
I don't feel any violation on that. Just the book itself, or whatever it is. If you're backing a board game or something, and maybe the stretch goal was a little figure that was supposed to go with the game. I mean, you're disappointed, but you're not backing a stretch goal. You're backing the main product, and things happen.
Yes. I don't keep track of stretch goals. That's why on the Indie Revolt book that we did, the stretch goal I gave folks was more comics.
Right.
Because that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to put more comics in their hand. Right. I was saving that question because I know it's about time for Ed to run.
Yeah. Well, we'll get to that, Marshall, in 1 second. I want to Ed, tell everybody where they can find you and your book one more time.
All right. So all my social media is under Finish Line Comics. And right now you can get the comic book on Kickstarter, issues 1 through 5. Once the Kickstarter campaign is over, you can get it on finishlinecomics.com. We have a web store there. And then you can also pick it up in person, Unicon, in a couple of weeks. And then in December, I'll be doing LA Comic Con, and I'll be doing the Ontario Comic Con. So you can find me in person at those ones. And right now, your best place is to get it on Kickstarter and get all the issues or just issue 5, whatever you need.
And again, that's Immortal Era 1 through 5 over on Kickstarter. Go take a look.
And the good news is now when we go to San Diego Comic Con, we can stay at Ed's house.
Yep. Hey, come on in.
There we are.
I've had people do it before. You wouldn't be first. It's about an hour and a half. It's about a 90-minute drive, but it's still cheaper than a hotel out there.
Yeah,
sure is. And you don't sell out in 15 minutes.
Yeah.
Well, I'll bring sleeping bags and crash on your floor, or bring a tent.
Indie Volt party at my house for San Diego.
Yeah.
There we go.
Thanks, Ed, for being here. We really appreciate it.
We're going to clip that now. Thank you. Yeah.
All right.
Ed, thanks a lot. Stay in touch. We'll be watching your campaign.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you. See ya. Have a good day at work. What's our radio numbers?
Radio numbers right now, Indie Vote Radio, are 91,421.
Oh, we love you all out there. Thanks so much for listening. We appreciate you.
Yeah, thank you for listening to Indie Vote Radio. Appreciate it. Download the app now. Marsh's question. So Marsh,
so I've heard a lot of people talking about Indie Volt. Thank you, everybody. But forgive me, honestly, I'm new to it. What are y'all all about?
Well, Marsh, we cover independent comics, and not just the comics, the industry as a whole. Because we're fans.
I've been doing independent comics for long time.
Mm-hmm.
And Varian's been doing it for quite a while and has built himself up a communications empire with IndieVolt.com, IndieVolt Radio, plus Liberty Distribution. So he's distributing comics now. Yeah, IndieVolt TV. Sorry.
Yeah.
On your Roku channel. Yeah.
Yeah.
Where we're streaming all sorts of stuff. And basically what we're all about is educating people, talking about the business. We started this up because we saw other people were doing it, and like the previous letter writer that wrote in said, "Hey, who can you trust out there for history?" Well, here's an added perspective. Here's an old war horse. Here's somebody who's got a entertainment empire, and we're out to try to disseminate as much information and promote good comics. That's why I'm pointing at my spinner rack. That's the real key here, is that we love comics, we breathe comics, we eat. Well, we don't quite eat comics, but you know what I mean. We love this industry so much that we want to talk about it and promote it. And in promoting it, we do have people write in about their mistakes, about their problems, about their campaigns, because right now Kickstarter and Indiegogo are raging as far as platform goes. There's millions of dollars changing hands on both of those platforms yearly. I mean, millions and millions of dollars, plus the mainstream, he said in air quotes, markets are fizzling out. They're having a rough time. The large corporations are coming in. Standards and Practices is calling constantly, trying to keep us straight about what's going on. That was a spam call. Somebody wanting to talk to me about my extended car warranty, I'm sure. But that's really what we're all about. We're all about spreading news, spreading information, getting good information out there to people to help them with their campaigns, to learn from other people's mistakes, to make mistakes ourselves. I've done a campaign. Varian's wife has done a campaign. So we're going through this and learning. And that's really the key thing. Plus, I get ranty every once in a while and get on a soapbox, and we talk about all the different aspects of comics. Says, what did he say? Sorry.
Oh, he said, great. It's no, that was Pat. Pat said, you're missing out, Randy. Comics are delicious and nutritious.
Yes, especially the ink. Mm-hmm. Nothing like a good book that's got a unique printing smell to it. And that musty smell from the newsprint in the attic that Varian hates, I love. Gosh. There's his eyes rolling behind his sunglasses right now. Marsh, we're really glad that you're listening. Please tell your friends if you like what you hear. We try to do an entertaining program, and we try to talk about comics and comics entertainment, comics media, conventions, campaigns, retailing. We've all got a little bit of experience in that, or we all know people who have had extensive experience in that we can call forward and have in the chat. We are just past 1,500 subscribers on YouTube. We're monetized. We take super chats because Varian has bandwidth that he has to pay for his internet radio. We're also taking subscribers because we want to do programs that only certain people can hear. Hopefully not quite like a dark roast that has happened in the past. Comics. Yes. Comics. That should be a tagline for us too. Indie Volt. Comics.
And John talks says only we knew it was behind Randy's sheet. Yeah, it's he's a dead body.
If only I have done programs without that sheet up. I put it up because I have so much clutter. I'm broadcasting from my basement, and I've got 35 years worth of collecting, producing, printing comics back here. I've actually gotten rid of a lot of the boxes. If you look right back there, you can see a long box sitting tilted with a shirt sitting on it. Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and the old spiral rack, but the spiral rack's a lot more interesting to look at than the clutter of my cobwebbed basement. And the sheet is up there because I have a light back there that shines through, plus a whole bunch more clutter back there. Back there, I have a couple of extensive bookshelves that are almost out of space. Way back behind that curtain is another bookshelf that is one of those industrial shelves that has all Showcase Presents on one side and Oddball Books on the other. Back behind the spiral rack is another couple of bookshelves. The wife's long boxes are sitting out of camera range. Also, next to me, I have a couple of systems that I run. I have a vinyl cutter behind that sheet where I print small signs and one color or two color T-shirts. I have another graphics computer here that I do all my layouts. I have the camera sitting on top of my Cintiq board. And then over on the other side is even more horrible clutter and another sheet with more shit behind it that you don't want to see.
It's basically where he recreates American Psycho. Everyone in the chat is talking
no dungeons, no shackles, no
More
crazy
sheets.
Stuff. Yeah, more sheets. Yep.
Comic Talk says CrownCon 17 is the best monthly Comic Con there is, September 24th to 26th. Renee Rolf Publisher said, haha, good to hear, Sugar Chris. Send them to school, they eat the books. Mike Jimmy says, without Indie Vote, a lot of us wouldn't have made a lot of new friends and contacts in the indie comics. And indie comics can't deny the support they get to creators. We try. Speaking of support,
that's the cool thing about doing this podcast is over the last 2.5+ years that we've been doing it, we've met so many great people that are like us, that do books, have campaigns, and do works. Arrow Comics wouldn't exist without Indie Volt. I mean, the current incarnation of Arrow Comics wouldn't be around. I wouldn't be as busy as I am now if it wasn't for Indie Volt and Liberty distribution. So there's a lot of stuff that we're doing that's coming up. So we're really happy everybody's here. We're happy everybody listens to us. We try to be as transparent as possible and just have fun and talk about what we love, which is comics.
Esteban says, what's absolutely necessary to have before opening yourself up to a Kickstarter? Concept art, scripts, cover art, logo, looking for as much as I can find. You know what? Before opening up that Kickstarter, have as much done as possible. I mean, people want to see that you've got not just a proof of concept, but that you've got stuff that it's done that's going to reinforce people's belief in your project and wanting to back you. So as much art as you can have done, finished art. If it's not finished, fine, put it up. But you want to show some nice finished things. You want to have your logo, your art, scripts, all that done. And all needs to be done. Have as close to a finished project before you launch a campaign.
That's our recommendation. When Kickstarter first began, the idea behind the platform was to raise money in order to make a concept, in order to make a book. But the comics industry has taken Kickstarter and Indiegogo and literally turned it into an industry. Mm-hmm. So now you really need to have as much done as possible because you're going to need that time during your campaign in order to go out and promote your product.
Yeah.
So make the book, then promote the book. Is our recommendation. It's something that we've both learned as we've gone along, and we've talked to a lot of people. If you look at people that have successful campaigns, most people, not everybody, because there's people out there that make promises that they'll be out by Christmas and then don't come out until close to the following Christmas. That have campaigns, but if Brian Polito is a phenomenal example to follow when making and doing a campaign, because he's done it over and over again, and he's got it down to a working machine. Everything is done before he starts that promotion, and once you know that person has everything done before the promotion, you tend to buy in a little quicker because you're assured you're going to get a book. So Coffin Comics is a great, and Brian has even gone on and done a couple of videos about what he's done and what he's learned, which are in my mind invaluable to anybody that wants to do a campaign, because he'll tell you, I do horror books with he does horror books with large-breasted women, and that might not be your forte, and it's not for everybody, but he has an audience for horror books with Lady Death, who's a large-breasted, woman, incredibly curvaceous, and that's how he makes his money. But he's learned product is done before he promotes, before he does the campaign. And everybody knows with Brian, the product is done, so I can buy into that campaign with confidence. And he's shown a level of quality as to what his product is like. And if you like that kind of product from that kind of, that level of production, then you're going to automatically buy in. And that's why his campaigns have been climbing 100,000, 150,000, 200,000 every time he kicks out a book, because he's built that reputation, and he's got buyers in there that have the confidence in what he's doing.
Yeah. Sorry. Before I read that question, Pat Quada says to Esteban, you need an audience. And then Russ says, you need pages available to show pencils minimum. But Drawn Talk, he said, I got a question. Do you think that a problem with indie creators that they don't branch out of the creator community, therefore stunning their growth? Yeah, I mean, that can happen. Look, that's the problem with these clubs and who to hang with and who to be friends with.
That's not a club, it's a clique.
Well, yeah.
These little cliques out there, they're just, click. That's where the perception comes up, where you see people complain that, oh, you've got such and such a label, so all you're doing is spreading money around from your buddy's campaign to your campaign. That it is a problem. It is a problem, and there are people out there trying to fix that problem, to go out and to branch out and spread out in order for their base to grow.
Yeah, there's there's people who you're right, they just sell to other creators, and it's like that old joke of just sharing the same $20 bill all around.
Shuffling. Yeah,
it gets pretty old. But yeah, reaching out, and I've said it before, and I've gotten a little flack for it. But you get to the point where it's a wrestling terminology, but there's too many fans in the locker room. And there are people who, I like comics, I want to make one, and they jump on crowdfunding, they make a book, and they don't. I got told a while ago. I
think you should be encouraged to do that, though. But you have to understand that there's a certain percentage of these books that are going to be amateurish and fail.
Right. I got told by I got told years ago, back in like 2001. If you're going to be a comic book professional, if you're gonna go apply for any of these jobs, I mean, at DC, at Marvel, at Top Cow, Image, wherever, leave the Green Lantern shirt at home. And what they meant by that was, you're gonna be a professional, not a fanboy. It's okay to still be a fan, but you got to put that to the side when you're in the business. And sometimes we forget that because we're so excited. Like, I mean, when I met Jim Shooter, and I was fanboying out. A couple other people I've met, I met Lin Wayne. I mean, he created Wolverine, my favorite character. I geeked out, but I mean, it's kind of hard, but you gotta be able to put that aside and to put that fanboy aside and kind of push. I know I'm going off subject, but push
everything in moderation, because I've experienced the other side of the coin, where you start producing comics very early on when Arrow was first running. We were making a living off of doing Susan Van Camp and myself were making a living off of doing Tales from the Universe, and it turned into a job. And that's also something that you have to be wary about, because you do have that when you're making money in this business, it can become a job. Don't let the fact that you're making money steal the fun and the passion out of what you're doing. You're doing art, and in order to do art, you have to have that passion. So what I ended up doing is I got me a sketchbook that I took around to all of the people that I admired and got their autographs, or got a sketch if I could get a sketch or whatever, just to remind myself to be a fan, and not just be this industry, closed off business person. I'm working from 9 to 5 and that's it. And, because you also have to experience a real life out there as well. You have to learn social skills, especially if you're going to do YouTube. You have to learn how to talk to people and get out in front of people and not be afraid to to talk in general.
I have a friend who
watch your ums and your ahs and your, that kind of thing. And your at the end of the day, your phraseology that you end up using over and over again.
I had a friend who went to Full Sail University and for college, and he went for video game design. And around his third year there, he came home and he said, "Man, making video games, designing video games, I still enjoy them, but kind of not as much as I once did, because now I see the little mistakes. I know how they did that. I know what they did." And he still enjoyed games, but he told me, he said a little bit of the luster was gone for him, just a little bit.
Some of that passion can go when you learn how the sausage is made.
Yeah. So that happens.
Yeah.
And then too, I'm always I'm worried about being in this industry for too long. You get people. I just spoke to someone the other day who was
You're still young.
Well, I spoke to someone today who was totally deranged, but no,
just the other day.
Yeah, and I want to read this one too, because this one came in, and I'm sorry I didn't get a chance to read it.
Sorry, before you get there comes a time that, and we've said this on the program before, when you get that first book, when you get that first physical book in your hand, something changes in you, and it gets into your blood, and you decide then if you're going to be in this business forever or not. I'm in this business forever. I don't, the money, the living is great. The living well is even better. But I'm still going to do comics. That's it. And a lot of these guys, you look at comics history, which I love. Some of these guys die at the board, or they end up dying tragically when they realize they can't be on their board anymore. And it gets into the blood, and you just decide, hey, I'm going to do comics because I love the communication art form, and that's what you're going to do for the rest of your life. Other people will get in, they'll see how the sausage is made, and they'll pull back. And they might just become a fan or decide not to draw or just read comics or whatever, or retail, for example. I retailed for a long time, and every time I retailed, every Wednesday, we sat there and we would read all of the new comics for the week. And it really got to the point where it was irritating me, because I was sitting there reading these books going, I could do better. I could do better. I could do better than this. I could do better than this. So you put up or you shut up. You either get quiet and you get into whatever you're going to make a living on for the rest of your life, or you go out there and you show everybody that you think you have talent and that you need to be read. You have stories to tell. So that's part of the business.
Phantasm asked Phantasm Cassandra asked, I saw a post online very recently that suggested that we not be critical of artists or companies like Marvel and DC on our social media platforms, because they will watch and they will not hire us for jobs in the future. Do you guys think this is true? And should artists and creators go back and screw up their social media accounts? Anybody who's telling you that, Phantasm, is completely 100% mistaken. Marvel and DC do not care. You had a young lady who went out there, Stan Lee wasn't even cold yet.
Oh, yeah.
And said,
literally said, fuck Stanley.
And
this guy was a racist pig mother effer and had nothing but, and she ended up being hired by Marvel shortly after that.
And she's now working for them. Let me tell you something. Look, I mean, why?
Get it. There's a soapbox in your future, I can tell.
Son, is your mic muted?
While he's correcting himself, I can get on my soapbox for a second and tell you that the reason why you are hearing that in the industry, and people are warning you, don't say anything negative about Marvel and DC, is that these guys, and this has been part of the problem with comics since about 2014 or so, once you got some of these people up there doing their own video channels that were criticizing Marvel and DC. You go back and you look at them, and some of these people have been branded as ists and phobes and Nazis and all sort of white supremacists and all of this. Oh, you hate us because of this. They are out there criticizing the industry because, and these people don't want to hear it, because they know they are running headlong into a wall. because their quality is down. The overall books and the way that the books, the art form, they are degrading the art form so much. They're like, shh, don't say anything bad. Don't say anything bad. It's like the little kid that was standing in the crowd with the emperor showing off his new wardrobe of invisible thread. And the little boy said, that guy's naked. Ha ha, look at his wang. And everybody grabbed him and went, shh, don't say nothing. Don't say nothing. Oh my God, you won't get, the king's going to kill you or whatever. This industry needs criticism. It needs these sites out there to point and talk about the lack of clothes that the emperor has, because that freaking mainstream emperor is naked as shit. And people need to realize that. And to, I hate to bring up another stupid cliche, do better. They need to do better and go out there and improve this industry. If the not necessarily to the detriment of the corporations out there that are making tons and tons of money off of an IP from 30, 40, 50 years ago. They need to make better comics and make serious money doing better comics. So sorry.
If the people saying this crap would bother to pick up a book on comics history, not a book written by somebody who shares their agenda, but an actual book, and read it. Hell, you don't even got to read them. You can listen to them now. Pick up an audio book. Most of the people who have changed this industry have been critical of it.
Yes.
And you got these asses out here. Hey, don't talk about Marvel. I definitely talk about them. You'll never hire you. Jim Shooter said, I can write better than this.
Yeah.
And was hired at 13
years old.
And clearly said, I can write better than this.
I can write better than this.
Your stories suck. I can write better than this. There's nothing wrong with that. Quit this idea that you have to. I'm not saying go out there and piss on them, like, and say you're gonna go do something to their office and their people.
Well, no, not physically to their office and people, but believe me, some of these companies need to be pissed on.
Yeah.
They really do. They really do. And let them call you whatever they're going to call you. Piss on them and show them how to do better.
I'm not saying go out there and threaten violence against creators. No, absolutely not. That's stupid. Threatening to hurt people. That's
they threaten a lot of violence on the people who talk negatively of them.
They do.
And they're threatening your income by telling you, shh, don't be critical of Marvel or DC because, oh my God, you'll never work for them. You have to ask yourself, and go out there and look at the current product and ask yourself, do you really want to work for them in the first place?
You can tell there's a bunch of participation trophy babies in there who have never had to compete. Yeah. Because that's where you get the type of ideology from. Well, don't say anything bad about that person. You did your very best. You lost the game. You lost, son. You took the 3-point shot. You didn't hit it, and now everyone. See, I was in ROTC, so I went to military school, so there was a team-based aspect, sure, but if you effed up, it was on you, and you knew that, and so there was no participation trophies. There was no, you tried your very best. Your best was expected, and because your best was expected, you knew you were going to come out on top. And there was a competitive nature. I wanted to be better than my buddy next to me, who I was going to help make him better. Mm-hmm. And we don't have that. And I was, be nice. And I'm not saying crap on someone because just to do it, but crap. These people are saying, don't talk about Marvel. They'll never hire you. Okay, then do you want to work for them? Do you want to work for a company that doesn't expect the best?
Yeah, and when you're out there listening to these videos, don't mistake critiques for personal attacks. Unless it's a personal attack. Because a lot of times they'll go out and they'll point problems out in the industry, and then everybody will point at them and go, oh, you just don't like them because of whatever. And that's not the case at all. They are criticizing because they love this industry. They love this art form, and they know it needs to be better.
I criticize my favorite sports team all the time.
Mm-hmm.
I don't see the player on Twitter.
But that means you'll never work for them again.
Oh my God!
You'll ever work for them? You'll never get a job there. Yeah.
Look, Lions just started playing again. It's like crap. It's like here's another year of disappointment. By the way, I got asked to show this. I got asked to show this, and it's pretty weird.
Bristolian says, without competition, people flounder. You think Eurasian Bolt would have worked as hard and gotten as fast as he is? Oh, you see him. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Bolt. Now I know who he's talking about. Would work so hard or gotten so fast as he is without competition to boost him. Comic industry is no different.
Yeah. Randy, I gotta ask to show this. This is
Glenn,
Captain Power.
Glenn says, interesting chat. Today's world, all you need to succeed, to get on, is to be a box ticker. Yeah. Having talent or skill doesn't mean anything. Yeah.
Nothing anymore.
Box checker. Yeah. What is that now?
That's little variant.
That's little variant.
Yeah, I know it's kind of hard to see.
It's hard to focus.
Picture. Yeah. But I was looking at that. I was telling someone about Captain Power, and I knew I had Captain Power pictures.
Look at all them toys.
Well, the funny thing was, though, that there's a snack machine there, but I'm not sure if it's real or it's Play-Doh. It doesn't look the Play-Doh branding.
I didn't have a Christmas until I was 19. Anyway,
there's another Christmas. There's my Christmas. They got my moped, but there's some G.I. Joe and some. It's funny.
The Batman.
I get. Yeah, Batman. But look at this. It's funny about this. I get a moped for Christmas, right? But right below it, I don't know if you see that, is Crash Test Dummy Toys. Were they trying to tell me something?
Sending you signals, yeah.
And then there's me going out. Yeah, my parents. I still have this picture. My parents. We all dressed like we all wore these gray suits. And
that was the fad of the day, though.
Yeah. There I am with my mom on the sofa she designed. She designed that sofa.
Cool.
Yeah, she drew that sofa, and she still has it. She still has it. We're not allowed to sit on it. No one's allowed to sit on that sofa. You go to you for years. I think that might be the only time someone sat on that sofa in that picture there. I got asked to show those pictures earlier, so I show some photos from my youth back before I was
your youth. Yeah,
I was a comic book master. Yeah, now I'm a comic book master, and Varian's mom is almost as gorgeous as he is. Almost. She's close.
Yeah,
she's I think I had a picture of her looking quite evil. There she is. She was at. I don't know what I said, but it's the same face my wife gives me. I don't know what I said.
You probably said, "Ma, smile."
Yeah. And it's
a
smile.
WTF look.
Yeah. That moped photo was Varian's version of a Christmas story.
WTFU look. A moped photo is Varian's version of a Christmas story. You'll shoot your eye out, kid. Yeah.
Yeah. I remember my dad would not take me out to ride the moped to learn until he taught me how to play pool, because I got a pool table that year as well.
That looks more like a scooter.
Yeah, it was a moped.
Than like a dirt bike.
No, it was a moped. It was a regular moped. Yeah, they come scooters, mopeds.
Like a Vespa. Yeah.
He refused to take me out to ride it until he taught me how to play pool. Because I got a pool table that year, and he was like,
so you can watch all the balls bounce off of each other and the felt,
I remember, yeah,
that could be you, son.
Yeah, like this is what's gonna happen. We played pool for like an hour, and I would wait for him to get home from work, and I would play pool from every night. And it was funny, we would talk comics and play pool, and how the Pistons lost that day. But my dad was actually, and I was looking, I wish they had the whole video. I was looking at Hart Fisher's Jerry Springer videos. My dad's in the audience, and he's actually on Hart's side about the comics. He thinks he should be able to put out any comics he wants. So it's really cool, and Hart thinks that's amazing. I do too, that my dad was actually there, and then I remember my dad come home and tell me about that.
Glenn says, my mom was gorgeous too, but by the sounds of it, she was more like Randy's in temperament. Sorry to hear that, Glenn. Very sorry. Did she take a coal shovel to your butt because she had a Batman comic in the house?
Yeah. Let me see here. Sorry about that. I'm sorry. I'm just checking my Facebook. I'm sorry about that. I didn't see any of that stuff. I got a message from Connor. He was saying the chat wasn't about that. No. Connor, it was just the shift issue. Someone that wrote in. See, the questions are coming from the radio now. They've updated them yet again. So now the questions are timed. So when I click on them, I've got about like 3 minutes to read them before they move on and out. So I'm sorry about that. But no, the question was, again, that was someone who was upset because they felt that, like, you know, if you have a flexible goal.
She wasn't violent. She just didn't like me.
Yeah.
My mom had the fastest hands of any person I've ever known. She could, you know, smack my cheek and say, "Get that smile off your face.
Get the smile off your face."
I see you smirking.
Oh, so you were,
small woman too. Hard hit.
If you were being Mr. Funny Guy,
you
got popped one.
I just make you more resilient. That's all. Stubborn.
Yeah.
Tenacious. Yeah.
Tenacious. Well, I guess, yeah. I guess you would be after getting
you like that. Fuck her, you know. My parents are dead now, so I can talk about them.
Yeah, I still look around. I still worry about come in.
Looking back on it, I was pretty abused as a kid, but that's a whole other story.
See, I you know what? I think as a kid, man, I was.
Every kid thinks that they were abused, though.
Yeah, I got spoiled. I know it. I got spoiled.
Oh yeah, you were spoiled. Yes.
Yeah. And I also
show your Christmas shots. Yeah, you were definitely spoiled.
I know that. And looking back on it, I was like, I remember I used to. My dad.
That's what you're supposed to do at Christmas, though. That's what we do with the grandkids.
Yeah. I do it to my son. I buy him stuff all at Christmas. Okay, we kind of go haywire at Christmas, but I remember my dad used to, when I would get in trouble, I'd be in trouble for something, not often, but when I was, he'd go. He was collecting sports cards, and he would collect some comic books and stuff, but mainly sports cards and action figures. And there was a store called Comics Archives on Plymouth Road. And,
yeah, I've been in there. I had been in there a couple times. Yeah,
yeah, and he would take me in there.
Because still not around though, is it?
No, they've been closed for a couple years. They had a drive to try to save it.
Yeah,
and it didn't work out. They actually were just like $1,000 short, which sucked. But my dad would take me in there, and can I get a comic book? And yeah, go ahead. And I always thought, like, idiot, I'm in trouble. And he had me get a comic, but then later on, I found out he was happy that I was reading. He didn't care. So yeah, you want a comic book? Go ahead. But you know, speaking of Comic Archives, I was always, I don't know how long it had been since you had been there, but they had a big paper mache Spider-Man hanging by the window they had made. And I remember when they closed down, that paper mache Spider-Man was my biggest concern. Like, where did it go? Who has it? Mm-hmm. And I was so concerned about that Spider-Man. And
was it standing?
No, it was hooked onto the wall, so it was upside down.
Oh, gotcha. And, because we have a comic shop up here that has a plaster life-size Spider-Man.
You know, this was life-size before people were really doing that, you know, like in stores or selling them. And I end up going into is it Back to the Past comics? That they were in Livonia.
Dennis Barger had a big Silver Surfer at one point.
Right? Yeah. And they had it. So the Spider-Man is alive and well. They've since moved to Wixom though. No, Dennis Barger and his Silver Surfer, which he took on the Pawn show here. What's it called? The one's based in Michigan.
The Detroit Pawn.
Yeah, he took it on there. Yeah. It was cool to see Dennis on there. He walked in with it, and it's funny. I had joked him about buying it. I think he quoted me like, did he want $3,000? I think $3,000. I came very close, Randy, to I became good friends with the people at my local AMC, and that's cool because if you want movie posters, befriend the folks at the movie theater. Mm-hmm. Before they all switch to digital, because there's another theater by me. They got digital posters, and you can't get them. It. But the AMC theater by me, they still have regular posters, and you can befriend them, and you can get copies of posters. But and real movie posters are two-sided. By the way, they're two-sided. They so the same images it's on the other side too. But and they're big. But there was a big, huge Hulk sculpture out front, out front in the lobby, and I remember asking, like, "Hey, what's gonna happen to it?" And they were like, "Well, we might auction off to workers or staff, and they just had a big pool.
Oh man, digital
and they said,
posters.
"Hey, you can have it, Baron. If you want this Hulk, you can have it. You just have to haul it away." And at the time, I lived in a very small 2-bedroom apartment. I couldn't put that Hulk there. I couldn't do anything with it. The guy who ended up getting it, it's outside in his backyard.
Still to this day?
To this day, it's outside in his backyard. I know that he said some of the paint has been, taken out, because this is the Incredible Hulk. This is the Ed Norton version, with the MCU version. It's the paint started to chip because it's been exposed to elements in the harsh Michigan elements.
Harsh Michigan weather.
Yeah. Where are the real posters? Says drag him on to me. Yeah, they're gone. And
same place where all the cowboys are.
Where
have all the cowboys gone?
From Ick sent in a question, a statement more.
Spell that name.
EACK.
Okay.
Ick says, how would you guys feel if you backed a book, an omnibus, for $200, only to receive in the mail? Oh wow. Okay. Only to receive in the mail single issue floppies that compose the omnibus. They're all signed from the creator with an apology that the omnibus cannot be printed due to recent shortages of paper.
And Varian is laughing here because we know some printers right now that are running into paper shortages.
Yeah. So. I'm considering suing to get my money back. This is not what I paid for. This is not what I was promised. This is not fulfilling the campaign.
I would take that up with the creator and let them know you are dissatisfied and that those paper shortages are going to end here pretty soon. All I got to do is get the supply lines back up to running.
Do we get one of those? No, that's not quite a Griff King.
No, because the person who sent them does feel bad, or else he'd have just said, "Screw you, we're going to wait for 2 years until the printers can all catch up and we can print this book." He sent him copies of all of the books that were going to be in the omnibus, and he bothered to sign them. So that's putting forth an effort to rectify the problem. It's just that you need to write them back and say, this is not the book I was expecting.
Yeah.
It's nice of you to sign all these books and all. And yes, you're saying it by way. And yes, there is genuinely a paper. There is problems in the supply lines and the making of paper because everything's got screwed up because of the bug situation. And it's going to take another 6 months to a year to even 18 more months still. That hopefully they get past all this crap soon. Pardon me, so that everything can start getting back to normal if there's ever going to be a normal.
Yeah,
I'm starting to wonder. But take that into consideration. But him saying, "Oh, I just couldn't get the paper. Here's the books," is a little cold, I think.
Randy's a lot more optimistic than I am because it came back full circle for me yesterday. I'm like Randy said, we're running into some situations with printers, and I'm sitting there and I'm feeling horrible about what's going on. I'm trying to figure this out, and I don't know. It's not quite serendipity, but in front of me, the TV's on. I'm sitting on the sofa and I'm kind of freaking out, and I've got the news on. And Today Show runs a report yesterday about the paper shortage and about how novels are being scuttled because there's no paper to print them. And so people are rescheduling their novels. They're like, these big time novel releases are getting pushed back to 2022 because there's not enough paper. Now it's almost the end of the year now. So, you think 2022 isn't that bad, but, it does. When I seen it on to Today Show, it's like, and while
suddenly becomes real for you.
Yeah, well, it was real already. It was like, oh man, while I'm actually trying to dealing with problems with printers. Yes. But according to their thing, they were saying that their experts say the paper shortage could last well into 2023. And there's an article up, and you can look it up on today.com.
Well, and again, you never know once you stop production on something how long it's going to take before you can gear it back up and then gear it back up to the same productivity that you were at when you stopped.
Yeah, there's look, and I had
but I can tell you, if some of these idiot comic companies out there would stop printing some shit, might free up a little bit of paper.
Yeah, I was kind of freaking out, but like see that on today, and it's like, yeah, tell me, and it's weird because my mother called me. She's like, hey, did you see on the news where they were talking about paper shortage? And I'm like, I saw.
Which is weird because suddenly now there's, we've had to deal with the bug this whole time, and now that we're actually looking for paper, there's a paper shortage.
Toilet paper shortage too. Should be that. Let's see here.
If people were smart, they stocked up a little bit. It's not like that shit can spoil.
John Talk says we saw the paper shortage coming 5 months ago, and we placed an order over 30K so that we could stock up. LOL.
Good for you.
Yeah. He works at a printing facility though.
So you're really cool. Yeah.
The creator is doing the right thing about giving you the content you want. However, she should allow you to choose a format that you want it in.
Yeah.
Yeah. I would have told the I would have said, hey, thanks for the books. I really would appreciate the omnibus though. Is there a way that I can get that? Is there a way that are you going to try to print that? I understand the paper shortage. And you know what? If like Joe said earlier, he says, again, the problem here is communication. That creator should have reached out to you first to give you that option in lieu of waiting until the book can be printed. Yeah. Hey, guys.
That's very true.
I don't know when I can print this book. $200. Come on. And
it's like we've been told that this, the paper for this isn't going to be available for a few months. I want to keep my commitment to you. Would you like either A or B?
Yeah. I understand they try to do the right thing by saying, hey, look, I'm going to send you these issues and I'm going to sign them all.
Mm-hmm.
But that's not what you ordered. That's not, I get it. I get your, but it's not a grift. It's not a grift. It's
no,
because grift.
No, it's an attempt to fulfill the need.
Yeah.
But they like Joe said, they should have given them the option. I think
a grift would have been, yeah, no paper, bye.
Thanks for your money.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have to fulfill nothing. If I paid $200, I want the nice omnibus with the spine. Jeez, $200. That's so much.
It's it's funny because I blink it like 200. It's 200. Yeah, we can. Yeah, I get it. You're right. It is
not really draw and talk. You take a look at what some of these omnibuses by the guys who get it printed over in the slave labor countries are still charging $100 and almost $200 for that. And here's something from an independent guy who I'm sure their per unit cost is a lot higher than what the mainstream guys would do. That asked for only 200. That's probably given him a lot thinner profit margin than what the mainstream guys get, at least. So,
yeah,
I guess it depends on how big it is for sure. Yeah, that's what she said.
I was gonna say that.
Sorry.
How big is it? Yeah, I don't think the guy did anything. I don't see it as much.
No, I think it was a nice gesture, and I hope that the commenter in there takes it as a nice gesture, even if it wasn't what they were expecting. They should get a hold of the creator and say, "Hey, thanks for the signed, like you said, thanks for the signed copies, but I really want the omnibus to sit on my shelf so I can, refer back to it at times instead of having individual copies sitting up."
This ain't what I wanted, you mother.
Or provide a slipcover, like a box. Yeah, some of those boxes have been pretty interesting lately. That some of these guys are offering to, what they offer in their campaign is you buy a box, and then every oddball trinket or thing or whatever all go into that box, and they ship you the box.
Jeez,
that's pretty convenient.
Went from not big enough to boxes now.
There we go.
Oh man, Yeah.
Yes, you must. Anyway.
Yeah, I would yeah. Now, Randy, last thing I got for you today, and tell me how you feel about this. This is gonna be a good one. You're probably gonna laugh at this.
We only have 10 minutes.
Yep. This is from Uncanny Manny.
Uncanny Manny?
Yep, Uncanny Manny.
All right.
Says, okay.
Manning or Manny?
Manny, Manny.
Okay.
And he says, okay. My buddy is a unrepentant entrepreneur. He's always trying to find the next thing. He considers
how come entrepreneurs have to repent? Go ahead. Sorry.
They commit so many sins. He considers himself almost a futurist. It's hitting a little close to home, man. It hurts. All right. Yeah, that's me. Are you talking about me? Uncanny Manny? Are we friends? Anyway, he says, he's recently decided to start a website that will allow people to read independent comics. Think of the Netflix model. He's also developing in the same platform ability to send out trades, much like Netflix. Sends out DVDs to send out trade paperback comics. No floppies because
does Netflix still send out DVDs?
They do have that plan, I believe. Last I checked, which it's been a while, but I think they still do that. The thing is, I told him I'd be interested, and I'm now concerned because the price point that he wants to charge is $5 a month for unlimited comics on his platform.
$5?
Yeah.
How do you get paid?
Unclear.
Okay.
Unclear. We got to do the pitch meeting. Why don't you come back about that thing?
Yeah, and how much do you get paid per read? Because I used to, when Wowio first started up, I jumped in, and I was making decent money from that until Platinum Studios come in and change their contract, saying, "Hey, anything you send us, we own." It's like, fuck you, give me all my stuff back. Yeah.
$5 per month though, that's probably not a lot. I mean, depending on how many creators you get on there, that's not a lot of money to split between all those creators.
Well, if you've got a ton of creators, yeah. But if you start at $5 with, 4 or 5 companies, and then you grow out from there, and you slowly creep your price up, like Netflix. Anyway, eventually you'll start making millions and millions of dollars.
You know what you could do, Manny? Tell your buddy this. And just me thinking as an entrepreneur. The books are distributed. The books that are sent digitally. Tell him that what he should do is in his reader, insert his own ads in the reader.
Mm-hmm.
That way he can also make some money from that to pay you guys, because he's gonna have to do that in order to keep and because literally he can put in video ads.
Mm-hmm.
It's gonna allow him to be able to pay you guys for your content, because $5 a month per user, me and Randy only be $10 a month. Me, Randy, Lola, whoever else, that's not a lot of money. It's gonna go out to you guys, so you're gonna start feeling jilted real quick.
Yeah, but think if it's $5 per IP address,
mm-hmm.
That or for device, that might be different.
Oh yeah,
for platform, who knows?
Yeah. And then also,
what I'd tell him though
mm-hmm.
about digital comics.
What's that?
I'd quote him Stan Lee. When digital comics would replace comic books, Stan Lee said, "Comics are like boobs. They look great on a computer, but I'd rather hold one in my hand."
Yeah.
Stan.
Let's see here.
And how much are they selling the trades? I guess we'd have to look at the business model to take a look. $5 a month, interesting. $7 for Comixology, $7 for Marvel Unlimited, $2 for Shonen Jump app. It's interesting. Yeah.
And are these going to be just independent books? Because you might have to lower that $5 price point to like $3. And Dragon Month means basically they split it to different sections and plan as well. So yeah, they do still have the DVDs. Marsh says we should send comics out for rent and have them sent back because of the paper shortage. Netflix.
Yeah, there you go, Marsh. That could be a good industry.
Drawn Talk says the month subscription is $2 and $5, so it can pay off. But the more creators, the more you got to split. That's true. And the other thing I was wondering though, if he's going to send out comics, first of all, there's wear and tear on those books. Then there's theft. There's people who aren't going to send the books back.
Well, you plastic coat them like they do library books, right?
You could do that. You could do that. And the other thing though is throw some flyers in there,
or you make them nice, pretty, and sturdy, so that they can take a little bit of abuse.
Yeah, but you send ads with those books too, if you can, because I mean that's gonna make you some money, because again you're sending ads and you can charge companies. Hey, I'm gonna put your flyers in these books that are going out to these customers. You might be able to charge them, $400 or $500 a month to do that. They're larger companies. So tell them that, Manny, and see what they say. But I don't know how you're going to get paid. I'm not sure it's going to be it probably won't be short-term money.
It'd have to be half micro payments per view.
Yeah.
It won't, depending upon what your subscription base is.
Right. So Randy, that's it for us today.
Wrapping it up.
Yeah, I got to go see a lady about a warehouse.
There you go.
But Randy, where can they find?
Let's keep in mind the amount of space you're going to need.
Oh yeah, and then also, folks, keep in mind. You need to keep in mind, folks. 7:30 this weekend, Saturday. You're doing nothing except for sitting in front of your computer watching the IndieVogue Comic Book Awards. 7:30. It's going to be a great show. I'm really looking forward to it. Make sure your butts are sitting right in front of your computer. I'll be putting up the link to the show later. We're gonna put it up so you guys can watch it. And then also, I know it's short notice, but our fan poll is gonna go up. It's not even a poll. It's basically you're gonna be able to go and say who you think should be recognized in indie comics, and that's our fan poll. That'll be up after the show here tonight. So,
and neither of our names are there.
Neither of our names are there. No. We're not eligible. So who should be recognized and for what? What they've done. So that'll be up after the show ends. And then also
tell your friends.
Make sure that you I'll also post the link for the show, the award show, the proper award show at 7:30 on Saturday. I'll post that too, so you can hit a reminder and you could make sure you book yourself a spot to watch.
Glenn says it should be earlier. That's after midnight for me. Should be archived up on IndieVogue.
Yeah, it'll be up there. Jake says thanks for the stream, sup ass boys. Thanks. No problem.
There you go. Yeah. Yes, sup ass boys. Comic Pop says vote Pops. LMAO.
Jake Twister says goodbye, and then Comic Talks about says later, Sploo Drags. Later,
Sploo Drags. Yeah.
Randy, where can you be found, sir?
I can be found here in my basement, constantly working on comics for the next few days. I do have some signs I got to cut though. But no, you can find me on Facebook under Randy Zimmerman. You can find me on Twitter, but not very often, under Randy Zim. You can find Arrow Comics 4.0 on Facebook, Instagram, and the Twitter, and a link tree there in order to help connect you to all of that. Other than that, you can find me back on Sunday morning for the Sunday Funnies at 9 a.m. I'm not sure if Varian will be joining us or not, because he will have had a long night of giving awards away. So I'm not sure even yet who we'll have on, but I need to start, I guess, booking guests for that show. So Sunday Funnies, where we try to put the fun back in funny books and talk about the more lighthearted and whimsical side of the business. And then Varian and myself will be back again Tuesday nights at 9 p.m. for the Livewire program, along with a host of other guests, usually a full house, lots of fun.
Yeah.
So, and eventually Lola will end up doing a Geekgasm again on Wednesday night at 9 p.m. As soon as she feels better and catches up on her college work.
She will. She's got to feel better first.
And then there's Pitches Be Crazy on Saturday at 2:30. Or is there going to be a Pitches this week?
There will be. Yep.
There will. 2:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Times. All of these times are Eastern Standard Times, where they have a couple people on that have campaigns on one of the crowdfunding platforms, and they pitch their book in an interesting and unique way. And the winner, who's judged by Brandon, who's our host, gets to have a little investment from Indie Volt into their campaign up to $50. So it's always a fun show. If you haven't seen it before, go back and check out our archives on YouTube for that show. Never a dull moment on that show. Lots of fun.
Also, folks, make sure that you again you tune in, and when you you finished, Randy? I'm sorry.
I am done.
Okay. Make sure that you go sign up if you want your question read on the air on IndieVote Live Wire. You can do so IndieVote Live at indievote.com. Include IndieVote Live in the subject and keep those emails 90 words less so I can put them on a card. And then IndieVote Radio topping out to this morning at 95,802. Thank you guys for listening.
We appreciate each and every one of you. Yeah.
You can be part of the audience by downloading the app at Google Play, or if you have an iPhone, stream or tune in. Ask Amazon Alexa to play IndieVote Radio for you. You can also check out IndieVote Radio on the URL on the player on the indievote.com. There's a player on the page, and it also allows you to request music at times. So it's a pretty cool feature that's built in there. Maybe radio isn't your thing. Maybe you're tired of the radio. Well, we got stuff you can watch too. IndieVote TV on Roku. It's free. Independent movies, some content just like this where we taken it off of YouTube and put it on there exclusively. Go check that out. IndieVote TV on Roku, completely free.
Assorted nitwittery and buffoonery.
Oh yeah. It's great time.
Just also want to point out Arrow Comics 4.0 available exclusively through Liberty Entertainment Distribution. www.ledg.us. Please go over there and take a look. It's a different kind of distributor made for retailers so that we can ship you books immediately for you to put on the shelves and make money from it, from the alternative and independent market. So it's a direct order to ship to shelf. That's what Varian likes to call it.
Yeah.
So you can order on a Monday. It's packed and sent out Monday night, maybe Tuesday. Then it's shipped to you, depending upon how long it takes for that turtle to send to get that package to your retailer's door. You can take it right out of the box in a bag. It's already in a bag and a board, and put it right on the shelf or in their pull list or wherever it needs to go in order for them to make money off of those books at retail prices. So.
That's right. So remember, IndieVote Comic Awards this Saturday at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Make sure you're there to watch it. We'll see you there. Until then, you guys try to leave this industry a better place than you found it. And
we want to buy independent and alternative comics, especially ours. We want to leave you with the immortal words of Mr. Jack Kirby, who says, "Kid, comics will break your heart."
Oh, you break them.
So, and we also want to remind you that it's okay to play with yourself.
All right, we'll see you guys. You hang in there. Don't do anything stupid till we get back.
Now, can I play the video?
Absolutely not.
You sure?
I gotta see people. I gotta see those people.
It'll be fun.
Good night, everyone.
Take care, everybody. You want me to take us out? I'll take us out. You got it? Take us out.
How dare you?
Everything's perfectly